Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today I have a video courtesy of GameConDe, and I'm guessing this isn't actually an account from GameCon and just someone who liked the name, and they're joined by a couple division mates, Delicti in their Ranger, and Marunga driving the Belfast, with GameCon rounding out the group in the Gneisenau. Now, my feelings on the Gneisenau, I think, are pretty clear, and that's I'd rather be in the Scharnhorst, which is why I own the Scharnhorst, and got rid of the Gneisenau, and it really just came down to something about the way the guns handling me just don't sync up. I'd rather have the smaller caliber, faster firing guns of the Scharnhorst than the guns they put onto the Gneisenau. And part of it just comes down to, for me, 6 barrels isn't enough with the accuracy of these guns. And, well, I like to get in close and mix it up, so higher rate of fire, more barrels, well, I don't need the long range penetration. And you get a cruiser at close range, you're going to rip them apart with those 9 barrels filled with AP. But GameConDe is going to show you that the Gneisenau is in fact a good ship when you know how to drive it and show up any game I've ever had in it. And it doesn't start off too terribly quickly. Taking some long-range pot shots at an enemy Bismarck until this Bajoni shows his face, and here's an important thing that GameCon does that a lot of people don't do. They see the Bajoni and they wait. And they wait, and they're waiting for that Bajoni to give the full flat-on side. Then he fires. If you just take a shot because your barrels are loaded, it's never going to turn out as well as that. And GameCon got a Citadel. And that's what you have to do in the battleships, is you've got to be patient. Your guns do not load quick enough for you to take speculative shots. And I'm just going to take over the mouse here because the jumping around is a little much for me. I know I can be bad for it when I'm playing, and I really do try to slow it down when I think I'm going to be using a video, but it's something you have to do in this game. You have to be perpetually looking around, checking your flanks, you know, your quarters. Is there a ship there? Is there torpedoes? Anything I need to see behind me? Vigilance and situational awareness are how you win this game. And GameCon is definitely doing that. And they're doing something else. I think they were doing what I do there, which is ride the torpedoes and kind of look around to figure out what's going on, almost around a corner. You can kind of use that. There's another Citadel into that Bajoni. The torps running out a little before they could get there, though I don't think they would have hit. The second batteries are firing away, or at least they were, and, well, that Bajoni is more than likely dead. So GameCon gets moving and wastes no time getting a final volley off at that Bajoni, but only does 1,000 damage after back-to-back Citadels. I don't even think that was a poorly aimed shot, just a bit of bad RNG, and the ship was still in the turn as he fired, and, well, only 1,000 damage. So the Bajoni gets away for the time being. But we're 5 minutes into the match, or 4.5 minutes, 38,000 damage on the board. Definitely a solid start, and that's better than some of the entire games I've had in this ship. The other thing I will note that's curious is it doesn't appear that GameCon runs any camouflage. I don't know if that was a mistake, just forgot to enable something, because you can see all those flags being run, so definitely not worried about using consumables. And personally, I run camo on everything because it's just a mild percentage chance increase, to your detection, and messes up aim just a few percentage points. And to me, that's worth it to be competitive. But I do know there's the purist out there who don't like a lot of the wargaming design kind of camos that are the same for a nation, because really ships weren't painted like that. Yeah, they used camouflages that have been used, but I mean, as you can see with some of the premium vessels, that's more like some of the ships were painted, but not all of them were. And, you know, there's debates as to whether or not even painting the ship is necessary. I know, you know, Canadian frigates are painted like a seafoam green. It's technically a gray, but it's a much different gray from the American shipside gray, and it just disappears in the fog, and it's one flat color. And if there's any kind of haze on the ocean, they can be hard to see. So sometimes all that confusing camouflage might just make your vessel easier to see because it creates hard lines. But I'm no expert on that. I just think some of the ships look pretty in camouflage. So there's an enemy Gneisenau 4 kilometers away. You have to assume torps are in the water, and GameCon is turning. They are also getting their other torpedo tubes in line, putting the PEDs into the water because it doesn't hurt. And something weird happened as they tried to zoom in. Kind of got stuck on the mast. And I like what they're doing here. They're focusing on the Fiji, which is close in, British cruiser. You know it's going to take damage, and there is 10,000 damage. And those Fiji's torps weren't all that well aimed, and maybe they just figured they were dead and just tried to get on and click as quick as possible. And, well, GameCon has one set of tubes remaining, looking at firing at that buddy. Friendlies finish it off as his torpedoes finish off that Gneisenau. So that's his first kill, already 87,000 damage in, and while their team has a good lead, I wouldn't call this one over, simply because they're only one ship ahead. Sure, they've got the caps, and as a result have the points, but you never know. And looking around, that Fubuki's on 187 hit points, which kind of offsets that Hipper. And, well, there goes a Nagato. So the advantage is disappearing, and it looks like these enemy Bismarck and Gneisenau, even though they're not in a division, are sticking together, and that is always dangerous. Volley out at the Bismarck, and that connects 8,000 damage. Really good hit. These German battleships can be a little troll with their armor. Sometimes you'll get really good damage with some penetrating shells. The Citadels are incredibly hard to hit, but other times you just don't get the same kind of response. I kind of question why GameCon put the torps into the water. Maybe it was just kind of, they're ready, might as well. Who knows what that Bismarck's going to do. Gets his guns firing, another 8,000 damage into the Bismarck, and there's now 2 ships over there on, well, half health. And personally, I may have been firing at the Gneisenau that entire time simply because it was on lower health. Removing a set of guns is always crucially important over just stacking up damage, but you can't question success, and so far things have been going really well for GameCon. 110,000 damage, and, well, I think things are about to heat up because there's a Bayern ahead. Another volley off, this time at the Gneisenau. 8,000 damage to them, knocking about a third of the remaining hit points off. Here come the torpedo bombers, though I don't think they're actually headed for him, which is a silly move by this carrier who is sitting still behind an island. How... I don't even know sometimes. Like, who makes that decision? And once again, you can see GameCon being patient, seeing what the Ranger's gonna do. You know the Ranger's in panic mode, or maybe they're not even paying attention to their ship, but you have to kind of wait. If he had fired the torpedoes straight at the Ranger right when he came around the corner, they all would have missed because the Ranger started going ahead. But seeing that leader starting to tick forward, you know exactly what the Ranger's doing, and turns out friendly Ranger finished off. So another kill for their division, and, well, now it's a Bayern at 5k, and more torpedoes. And GameCon is making this look kind of a little easy, I think. I often find it difficult to get close enough to get the German battleship torpedoes in. They're very useful if something comes charging around the corner at me, but GameCon's been the one charging around the corners and doing a lot of damage with those beads. But also a fair amount of work with his guns. There's another 6,000, picks up the Confederate, and keeping himself well angled to this Bayern. You never really want to give too much of the side, even though it can be tempting to get that rear gun involved, because the second you go like a full side on, you're risking bigger damage hits. Though I do find with the Germans, they're much better at a 30-degree angle, because unlike the Americans, they just don't do as well nose on. There's that volley from the enemy ship. Cut into his hit points, still has 2 repair parties left. Finally, the same set of torpedoes are ready, puts them back into the water, definitely close enough that even with the Bayern driving away, those are going to go the distance if the Bayern drives straight. Gets another volley off, lights a fire with the secondaries, and, well, these torpedoes are looking true. Minimum 2 of those are hitting. I think all 3. No, only 2, but 14,000 damage, and, well, there's still another set of tubes. The guns, well, one of the guns is ready. Sorry, no, all the guns are just about ready. I mixed up because I don't switch my torpedo and gun location. But another set of torpedoes, and these are definitely finishing the Bayern off, and, well, they're going to bring GameCon's total damage up to 214,000, and picks up a second kill. Things are pretty much looking over for the enemy team at this point. Bismarck and Gneisenau did a really solid job, but they got whittled down over time. And one Gneisenau isn't going to hold out against 3 enemy battleships and a carrier. And really, the points aren't going to last that much longer either. And look at how well this division did. 2 kills for the Ranger, 2 kills for GameCon, and 1 for their buddy in the Belfast. And that's a third of the enemy team, well, more than a third. All of them.
And ultimately just a great game by GameConDe. 274,000 credits, 5,700 experience, fireproof dreadnought, high caliber Confederate, 214,000 damage, only a couple kills, but really I thought carried the game and did what I like to do in my Scharnhorst, get in close, use the torpedoes and the guns. And it paid off. Top of the team, the whole division rounding out the top 5, and 2851 experience. Definitely respectable base experience, and closing in on that almost 3,000 mark, which is just astounding kind of games that, you know, happen once every couple months for most people. And when you look at the damage spread, it's pretty impressive. Sure, only the 2 kills, but got a ton of planes, and, you know, 30,000+ damage on, 4 different ships. And then some more on the, you know, almost 20,000 on the Fiji there. And surprisingly, or at least surprisingly to me, they run a standard account. And they still managed to walk away with 192,000 and a ton of experience for their commander. You can see if they had run a premium account, they would have had over 300,000 credits after all the expenses. And that is really impressive. And just a really well-played game. They kept their head on a swivel. They really did everything they needed to do, and as a result, GameCon's team won. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving the channel, or giving a thumbs up, or subscribing to the channel, as both help keep me motivated and keep me putting out content. If you've got a game of your own you'd like to submit, Qckslvrslash@gmail.com. I would love to watch it, review it, put it up on YouTube for the world to see. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash, and I'll have another one for you guys later.